Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. Canada is here to listen and to help. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change.
A reset to address global challenges. Guys, we owe Michael Fallon an apology. He's been talking about a global reset for a long time. A global reset. And he's warning about it still. And we didn't really always, we didn't really always think the best of him. Let's be honest. We kind of were putting him in the Alex Jones category for a while. I cannot believe the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, came out and said this. They're pushing for a global reset, guys. And it's going to be in the United States, too, if Joe Biden steals the election. That's what we have to play for. That's what's on the table. A global reset to address global challenges. Is that where we want to go? I don't. Today we're going to be talking about just what's going on. And I'm just going to give you some more proof because we say we're in a civil war, guys, and I don't think you believe me. And because I don't really believe myself a lot of the time. So I'm going to give you some videos. There's a Trump rally in Washington, D.C. Not one major press company, major news network on TV was there. I didn't see any. I saw Yahoo and other media sites gaslighting and saying that the pictures were doctored, that there wasn't between 1 and 2 million people there, but there were. I was watching it live from an online YouTube conservative site. Man, we're in a fight of our lives, guys, and we're going to show you physical violence that happened at that rally. And where the heck were the police? They were there. They were just not stopping the criminals. And that's what we got to think about as we move forward, because it's getting real. We need to talk about it. Welcome to the show. My name is Matt Williams. Thank you for listening, sharing the show. Man, this show has been just doing so great, which I appreciate. Talking about this subject, talking about the struggle we're in, can be discouraging and bummed out, but you guys have shown up. You guys have shared the show, and you guys are fighting. I've heard you guys reach out to me and tell me that you have been taking the action steps of reaching out to your representatives, reaching out to your governors, donating to the legal cause. I appreciate you guys doing that. Continue to do it. I'm doing it. We need to continue fighting. Now is not the time to back down, to be discouraged, to be exhausted, to give up. This is the time to push ahead. This is the time to push forward, because we do not want to be part of this global reset that Justin Trudeau is talking about. One of the ways that you can ensure that we stay online is go over to the flfnetwork.com, flfnetwork.com, put in HTBT in the memo field, you'll get a sweet mug like that behind me, and you'll be helping us build a platform so when we get canceled by the tech censorship that's coming, it's coming, that you could still hear us, you can still be encouraged, and you can still have a Christian perspective on different things. I appreciate everyone subscribing on Twitter, and I'm not, on Twitter too, I guess, but I meant to say YouTube. Appreciate all the comments and the likes. It's fantastic. Every comment on my show I try to get back to and respond to. So if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, I read them myself and I respond to them myself. But happy to do that. Now, this Washington, D.C. rally, you probably didn't really hear about it because the press didn't even talk about it. But there's 1 to 2 million people at this rally. And it was honestly a little weird. I mean, Alex Jones actually closed in prayer from his speech, which I appreciate. I hope he's a Christian, and I hope he's praying to the right God, because we need more people praying. But it was really surreal, and I was asking myself, am I really on the side of Alex Jones? And I think I am, guys. I'm not saying I agree with everything he says, or that he's right, or that he's a Christian even, but man, he got it. And I think even Joe Rogan even understood how right he was on so many different things. and had him on his show and admitted it. All right, I want to pull up another video now. These are... Okay, so before we get into these two videos, I want to show you what happened and what I want you guys to be prepared for, because we're not used to this, guys. We're not used to this, and it's going to get worse. When Trump pulls out the evidence and when he reveals what happened, the election fraud, a majority of this country isn't even looking at this stuff. The press isn't showing it to them. They're not even hinting at there's a possibility that Trump won and that there was fraud. So this is going to be out of the blue for them. And we're going to see riots like we've never seen before, in my opinion. That's what I think. And I want to show you a taste of it that happened in Washington, D.C., while the cops sat by and did nothing. In fact, they did worse. They did worse, and we'll talk about it from these videos. And after these videos, I want to show you one of the greatest patriots of our time right now, Sidney Powell, the attorney for Michael Flynn. She has been a fighter, and we all owe her an extreme amount of gratitude. There's an encouraging video at the end of this, so do not close out. Do not stop watching until the end, because I'm telling you, this video is great. So this is the first one. This is what to expect when you go to a rally to voice your support, to voice your opinions, your values. This is what you can expect. For those of you who are listening to the podcast, what you just saw was a man who was walking away, getting clocked from behind and knocked out. And what continued to happen after that was he got head stomped. And before this happened, it's a longer clip where he's getting pushed around. He's pushing people. He's fighting people back. They're taunting him. And they start attacking him like hyenas. That they're like animals. They were going after him one by one, kicking him in the back. And there's this whole escalation. And as he was walking away, gets clocked behind, knocked out. And as he was knocked out, he gets curb stomped in the head. That happened at the end of this Trump rally. And I want you to understand what Antifa is doing here. Is they didn't attack when the full force of the rally was here. They waited for the end where people were gone and there wasn't that many people. And they started picking on people. And they hit this guy from the back. And so what I want you to take from this is, one, realize where we are at. I keep saying we are in a civil war. And that might seem harsh. But look at the actual physical violence the other side is doing. Unopposed, the police officers did nothing from what I heard. They definitely didn't step in. They definitely let these people go and continue their mayhem and taunting people, women, children, people that were disabled, elderly people, stealing from them, knocking them over, spitting on them, all of these different things. And, you know, they may file charges after the videos are released and all that stuff, but they didn't do anything there. They were just sitting around. In fact, it's worse. Here's another video. For those of you watching, this is a lady in a stroller with her kids. She has a blowhorn trying to yell back. Look at what you're doing to a kid. They're attacking her. This kid's crying with her jacket, traumatized. Black Lives Matter Antifa is attacking. This guy is trying to defend this couple and himself.
She's with her kid. She has her kid.
With a flag. Did you catch this? What just happened? Do you see this? And if you are listening to audio, you need to really seriously come back and watch this on YouTube. Do you know who the police are stopping? The man defending the woman and the child. Not Antifa. They're stopping the man and child. And they backed this kid in, and the guy fell on this kid. She's hurt. It's chaos. It's not just that the police let this happen. They stood by and did nothing. It's that the men that are defending that woman and child, the police cornered him and put him against the wall and stopped him from fighting. So there's a few things we need to learn from this. because this is only going to happen more. And I'm not trying to scare you. I just want you to be prepared. Is you are not going to be able to go anywhere in major groups and not expect Antifa to show up. When you're going for a political purpose, when you are going for something like supporting Donald Trump and getting people to stop stealing our election, you just need to assume Antifa is going to be there. And you need to start thinking ahead. I need to be with other men that are going to fight by my side. I need to be able to have people watch my back this whole time so I don't get clocked in the back of the head and knocked out. I need to make sure that we stay in areas that are going to be well populated and that people aren't going to come and ambush us. And then you also need to take into account that the police are going to stop you and not them. And that's what I fear most about what's going to happen in the future is what is the government going to do? What is the police officers going to do? What is the military going to do? And I ask you this from a video before I talked about is so you think you would arrest Gabe Wrench. And I was talking about the police officer in Moscow, Idaho that arrested Gabe for not wearing a face mask and singing hymns. And we talked about what's on the line. And let's remember, when a police officer does not obey an order given, he risks losing his job and losing his pension, which means he's losing his living to support his family. And so it's not just as simple for a military man even, or a police officer, or anyone who's following orders in the government. It's not as easy as, are you going to do what's right, or are you going to continue to do what is wrong? It's, am I going to choose your life and your safety that I swore to protect over my family? That's the decision they're making. Do I stop Antifa at the risk of getting fired because the mayor told me to stand down? Do I stop them and risk losing the only way I have to provide for my family? Or do I just obey? And what's happening, guys, is they're not just letting Antifa do their thing. They're stopping us from defending ourselves. And don't you dare think that that's not going to happen to us when this escalates. Don't you dare think that. And when you're in these Democrat cities controlled by Democrat mayors, they are the enemy. This is what enemies do. They provide cover for their team and they help defend against the enemy. And that's what they're doing to us. They're covering for Antifa. They're letting them go wild. They're letting them attack women and children. They're letting them attack the elderly. And they're stopping us from defending them. And don't forget, this is just the beginning. This is part of what Justin Trudeau is saying, the Great Reset. There's going to be a Great Reset, and these thugs are part of that Great Reset. These people are being supplied. They're being funded by the same people lobbying for the Great Reset. Do not be deceived. This is why we fight for Donald Trump now. It is not for Donald Trump. It is for the integrity of our elections, and so this reset cannot happen to us. It's so that we will be able to fight back and not let people be knocked out on the street, to not have women and children not be able to go to a rally because they're traumatized. That is what we're fighting for. So if you feel like you are giving up, that you are losing interest, that you are discouraged, take heart. Take courage. Now is the time. I was listening to somebody, I forgot who it was. It was talking, I think maybe it was Doug Wilson, who was saying that, or he was talking with some people that felt bad that their children are being raised in this time. And he said something to the effect of, your kids were born for this moment. God had your kids born for this moment. And that is so true. That we need to remember that we don't need to say, oh man, I wish our kids were born 30, 40 years ago. No, God created your kids to be born where they were born. He has a plan for this. But equally as true as that is you were born for this time. You were given the skills you were given. You were given the attitude that you have. You were given the Holy Spirit for a time like this. And it is a time to repeal and rebuff this evil. It is a time to fight. It is not a time to cower. It is not a time to be discouraged. It is not a time to feel sad for ourselves. It is a time to stand up, to encourage others, to be praying, to be spiritually fighting, to be fighting for our country, to be doing everything we can. Now is that time. It is not the time to lock ourselves away. I want to leave you guys with this encouraging video, and then we'll call it a show.
Yes, well, he is listed as its former Admiral Peter Neffinger, or retired Admiral Peter Neffinger. He is president and on the board of directors of Smartmatic. And it just so happens he's on Mr. Biden's presidential transition team that's going to be non-existent because we're fixing to overturn the results of the election in multiple states. And President Trump won by not just hundreds of thousands of votes, but by millions of votes that were shifted by this software that was designed expressly for that purpose. We have sworn witness testimony of why the software was designed. It was designed to rig elections. He was fully briefed on it. He saw it happen in other countries. It was exported internationally for profit by the people that are behind Smartmatic and Dominion. They did this on purpose. It was calculated. They've done it before. We have evidence from 2016 in California. We have so much evidence, I feel like it's coming in through a fire hose.
And I want you to be encouraged by this, because Sidney Powell, who was just talking on the Maria Barton-Romo show on Fox, she has the evidence. She knows how to fight this. And they've seen it happen. They have proof that it happened in California. They have proof that this has been used in other countries to overthrow their elections. This isn't the first time. This isn't something that they haven't been able to prove. They have all the evidence they need, and it's coming, and it's coming soon. Don't give up. People like Sydney are still fighting, and we need to be supporting them through social media, through encouraging others just as much as this is a legal battle that Sydney and all these attorneys have to fight. We need to fight the political war. We need to carry the momentum. We need to press on and encourage others to not lose heart and not give up. Now is the time. We'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless.